the Hall of Fame ceremonies continued over the weekend. Very special moment for all the inductees that were enshrined. It's a beautiful moment because in the NFL, it's a very select gentleman's club. There's only 346 guys in the NFL Hall of Fame, and Peyton Manning was the latest to really cap off a weekend filled of tremendous Hall of Famers, Jimmy Johnson, Charles Woodson, to name some. So Peyton Manning gave his speech yesterday, and to me, his speech perfectly reflected and summed up who he was as a football player. The charisma, the personality. He was clever. He was witty. It was cleverly written, cleverly executed. This is a guy that's clearly thought a lot about this moment. It was sentimental. It was intelligent. And the thing about him and Peyton Manning that is so unique is that gravitas, is that persona, is that leadership that he displayed last night and has displayed throughout his entire NFL career. We've seen this on and off the football field, the leadership and the command that he has over a room, over a team, over a field. Because this is a guy in Peyton Manning that wasn't just one of the greatest quarterbacks to play in the NFL. He was one of the greatest NFL players, period. The intelligence, the ability to audible better than any other quarterback I think we've ever seen, especially at the line of scrimmage, makes him such a unique player that has played the game. And when you think about Peyton Manning and his accolades, set aside the fact that he's probably the smartest and most intelligent football player to play the position. Not the best or the most accomplished, but the smartest. The guy with the most acute awareness, with the keenest perception to reading defenses, to what's going on. This is a guy who's a 2-time Super Bowl champ, a 5-time MVP, a 14-time Pro Bowler, a 7-time All-Pro player, third most passing yards in NFL history with over 79,000, third most touchdowns thrown in NFL history, a career average completion percentage of 65% over the course of 18 years is Peyton Manning. Goes to 2 different franchises, 2 different organizations, and wins a Super Bowl. Now, granted, the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, you could credit a lot of that to the defense and Von Miller, but there were a number of MVP seasons, especially in 2013, where Peyton Manning took over the league, took over the NFL. And so right now, he'll go down as a top 5 quarterback in NFL history, if not, according to, in the eyes of some, a top 3 quarterback in NFL history. But the thing is, what made him the most impressive, as I mentioned, was his ability to improvise, was his ability to be spontaneous at the line of scrimmage, was his ability to read the defenses and essentially act as the offensive coordinator on the field. He would legitimately call the plays for the offense. It was something that Bill Belichick said as a compliment to him, was that he paid the ultimate compliment to Peyton Manning, which was that he was the most difficult quarterback to game plan against because he never turned to the sideline. He never turned to his offensive coordinator or his head coach and said, hey, what's the play? No, he would be the one to analyze what position, what defensive scheme they're in, and at the line of scrimmage, read all of that, process all of that, have that sync up. He synthesized it, and then change the call, and then audible. Obviously, we're all familiar with his famous Omaha audible. But the reality is, think about how few seconds you have as a quarterback to read a defense, synthesize it, and especially if you're not looking over to the sideline or getting a play call read into your ear, into the microphone of your helmet, and you're the one that has to get everyone in position to call the play, execute it in a 35-second play clock. Extremely, extremely difficult. And the other piece of it that made him so impressive was who he had to battle through in his prime. He had to battle through Tom Brady in the prime of his career. The prime of his career, his arch rival, Tom Brady. And not only that, but even though he lost more than he won to Tom Brady, finished with a 6-11 record against Brady overall. He won 5 of his last 6 matchups against Brady. He was 3-2 against him overall in the postseason. And the career-defining moment of Peyton Manning was against Tom Brady when he beat him in the AFC Championship game in 2007. The career-defining moment of Peyton Manning was with the Indianapolis Colts. He hadn't won a Super Bowl yet. And in 2007, against Tom Brady, he comes back down 21-3 and leads them to a 38-34 win. It propels them to the Super Bowl. They beat the Bears in the Super Bowl, and they win the 2007 Super Bowl. That moment against the greatest of all time was what defined Peyton Manning. And for a guy who is so decorated as an NFL player, who's probably the greatest regular season quarterback to ever play, and that's not meant as a slight or as an insult. But the truth of the matter is, had he been able to replicate some of the regular season success in the postseason, he'd probably go down as the greatest quarterback ever. He would be universally revered and viewed in that same light as Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback ever, because Tom wasn't necessarily the most accomplished in the regular season, but in the postseason. But needless to say, Peyton Manning, again, his speech was funny. It was hilarious. Again, the charisma that he has, it's not a surprise to me why all these networks are seeking him for broadcast, probably going to pay him in excess of $20 million if he takes a job, is because of his ability to extemporize. It's about his ability to capture the attention of a room. A great leader once said that what you do to capture the attention of a room, you take a water bottle in a meeting, and as you wait for people to quiet down, you just start pouring your water as you're making eye contact with all your employees into your cup. You don't say a word, and that captures the attention of the entire room. And so Peyton Manning had a fantastic 18-year career, obviously missed one season with a strained neck injury. And obviously that was kind of a lingering issue for him throughout his entire career. But so much praise goes to him, Archie Manning, Eli Manning, the entire Manning family, because they are class personified. They represent themselves well. They're high character guys that had a tremendous, tremendous career. And we're going to miss Peyton Manning. He was absolutely sensational, both on and off the field. And I'm happy for him that he got enshrined into the Hall of Fame with such an esteemed class. He should be honored. And it was a privilege to watch him play for so many years. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal career. The intelligence, just unique, one of a kind. Truly, truly one of a kind.